Everybody wants to know about the coming of the Moshiach. It's really quite amazing. Moshiach is awaited by the vast majority of the world. You may not know this, but Islam, everybody knows that Christianity is waiting for what they call the second coming, which basically is the revealed Messianic era. Islam is also waiting for the Messianic era. In fact, they think that it's Jesus because basically Islam was a collection of the prophecies that came before. And this is super fascinating because when Mashiach comes, God will obviously resurrect the dead, and so Moses will be there, Abraham will be there. And these are all great prophets to the Gentiles, both to the Christians and to the Muslims. And so um, I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm not going to go too deep. But the point is that when those rabbis get up, it'll be pretty clear what is the reality. So that's just one little point that I wanted to make. But the main thing that I want to emphasize is that, in the words of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, we are in the times of Mashiach. And, you know, some people have great difficulty with that statement. What does that mean, we're in the times of the Mashiach? So it's actually fundamentally simple. It's very, very, very simple. Imagine if I say to you, you are now married. So you know what that means. Now, what was the difference between this moment and a second ago? Was, was there a difference? The answer is there's a greater intimacy knowing that you're married. There's something deeper. You're committed. This relationship has entered into a new dynamic. And we know clearly, our sages teach us, that when God gave the Jews the Torah, that was considered the engagement, and the marriage is the coming of Mashiach. So effectively, when the Rebbe has told us that Mashiach has come, which was in 1991, that means that God got married to the Jewish people. And that marriage of God is unbreakable. It's not something that can come and go. And what does it mean practically? It means that the Spirit of God has descended after thousands of years and after millions and hundreds of millions of hours of Torah mitzvahs. Each mitzvah we do has the word sapsa v'chibur, connection, and like binding. So the mitzvah took from the infinity of God and it brought it down into our dimension. Now remember, infinity is not something that's finite. So it's just a question of frequency. It's like, perhaps the best example is, imagine we had this little radio, but there was a station that was always playing that maybe the great prophets heard it, but we didn't hear it. But after thousands of years of kind of turning that dial through all this effort, suddenly the dial hit that frequency. And now everybody can hear it. And in fact, the majority of the world believes that they have a personal relationship with God. That's a very big thing. It's a very big statement. Going from a world that was barbaric and paganistic at best to a world where most people believe in one God and that they have a personal relationship with God. And we're not talking about kind of maybe some kind of superstitious time. We're talking about a time of great technology and great education like never before in history, which means that the secular ideal of trying to wipe out truth and God, it didn't work, because the truth of God is the truth.